This lecture is an overview of the content in Chapter 4, Creating a Simple Query. I will cover in this presentation these 5 main topics of the chapter: learning how to read the diagrams, learning how to use a select statement, learning how to use a shortcut to request all columns from a table within a select statement, learning how to eliminate duplicate rows in the results set of a select statement, and finally, learning how to sort the results that are returned from a select statement. The diagrams used in this course help to illustrate the proper syntax of select statements. All of the diagrams can be divided into 2 major segments: the statement line, which is always a major SQL operation, and the defined term line, which is always a component used to build a part of a statement. The only difference between the syntax diagram for a statement and a syntax diagram for a defined term is the manner in which the main syntax line begins, as you can see here, 2 different beginnings, and how they end, as you can see here, 2 different endings. The main line is used to order the optional elements of a statement or a defined term. It is best to read from left to right when understanding the ordering of the optional elements. Keywords are always formatted in uppercase lettering, as you can see here for select, form, distinct, where. A literal entry, which is usually a value expression, is always indicated by lowercase letters, as in the case when you are naming a table in the from clause. Defined terms are always in italic letters. Optional elements such as the distinct keyword always appear below the main syntax line. In general, you read the syntax line for an optional element from left to right, just as you do with the main syntax line. Optional elements such as distinct may have sub-optional elements. Multiple options are separated by a comma. Now that we have learned how to read the diagrams offered in this course, let's take a look at the select statement. The select statement forms the basis of every query or question you pose to the database. The keywords are formatted in capital letters, as you can see here: select, from, where, group by, and having are all keywords of the select statement. Recall in our diagram standard that literal entries are formatted in lowercase letters. For the select statement, the literal entries would be the column names and the table name. Also, with our diagram standards, defined terms are always formatted in italics. With our select statement, our defined terms are the search condition for the where clause and the search condition for the having clause. We are going to primarily focus on the simple select statement, which is select column name or column names from a table or tables. With the basic select statement, we have our keywords all in uppercase and our literal entries all in lowercase. Let's look at simple select statements on the employees table. Suppose the query is needed to answer the request. I need the names and addresses of all employees. The select statement would be select the keyword, the column names, employee first name, employee last name, employee street address, employee city, employee state, and employee zip code from the employees table. Another query could satisfy the request, show me a current list of our employees and their phone numbers. The select statement could be select employee last name, employee first name, employee phone number, and employee ID from the employees table. Notice we took the liberty of satisfying the request for a list of all employees by specifying employee last name and first name and employee ID with the employee number. Let's look at a select statement for another query on the subjects table. The request is, show me a list of subjects, the category each subject belongs to, and the code we use in our catalog. But I'd like to see the name first, followed by the category, and then by the code. So the request here does list an ordering of the columns that are retrieved. The select statement is simply select subject name, category ID, and subject code in the order requested from the subjects table. What if we wanted to be more efficient and not list all of the columns in a table in the select statement when the request is to list all of the columns? We can then use the asterisk to denote all of the columns in a table. Our select statement would be, in this case, when selecting all of the columns from the subjects table, select asterisk from subjects. What if the result set of our select statement consisted of duplicate rows? We could eliminate the duplicate rows by using the distinct keyword in our select statement placed before the column names of our select statement. An example of eliminating duplicate rows, our request is, which cities are represented by our bowling league membership? The select statement would simply be select distinct, those two keywords, with distinct preceding the column list of city and state. The from clause consists of the table name bowlers. By default, when the rows are returned from tables in a database based on our query, the rows are not sorted. The data is not sorted by default. The order by clause can be used in the select statement to specify the ordering of the columns and to specify if the columns should be ascending or descending in value. Let's look at an example of a query on the employees table that retrieves data in a specified order. The request is, display the names of our employees, including their phone number and ID number, and list them by descending sort for the column containing the last name and ascending order by the column containing the first name. The select statement would be select employee last name, employee first name, employee phone number, employee ID from employees. Order by employee last name descending DESC, comma, employee first name ascending ASC. The topics covered in this lecture on Chapter 4 were reading diagrams, writing select statements, using a shortcut to request all rows in a select statement, eliminating duplicate rows in the result set of a select statement, and sorting the data in the result set of a select statement. This week's assignments include a Chapter 4 quiz and a Chapter 4 programming assignment.